So, but if you take the written exam to be an agent, if you pass it, then the next portion is going to be the oral interview panel. We hold interviews every 6 weeks. Our applicants from South Carolina are flown to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And we would fly you down the afternoon before your interview. You would have your interview the next morning, hop a plane, and come back home that day. So it's not a vacation by any means. It's a whirlwind 4-hour oral interview panel that you are sitting in front of a panel of FBI agents that are flown in from around the country. We do it at the Embassy Suites in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So you're in a hotel room with 3 FBI agents at this itty-bitty little table. They actually took us about 2 years ago and let us experience what the applicants actually go through in an interview like that, because we've never done that. So it's kind of eye-popping, because the tables you're sitting at now are small. You know those little tables in the hotel room with the 4 chairs around them? That's your interview table. So it's pretty tight and very close, and the interview questions are experience-based, total life experience. It's all based total life experience. They're going to ask you all kinds of questions. I don't know what those questions are, because that's usually what everybody wants to know. What do they ask? What are the interview questions? Well, if I knew, I could tell you, but I don't. So all I know is it's a total life-based interview. So you have to draw on everything. They're going to judge you when you walk in that door. The FBI, for any interview you go through with the FBI, they're going to judge you from the time you walk through that door until that interview is over and you walk out. They're going to look at how you're dressed. They're going to look at how you speak. How do you carry yourself? What is your demeanor while you're talking? Do you mumble? Do you speak clearly? Do you ramble? Do you not make sense? You know, and they want you to draw that total life experience is how they want all those questions answered. So you have that interview. You get back home. It takes about 2 weeks to get the results, and you'll get a letter in the mail, U.S. mail, unfortunately, letting you know if you passed or failed. If you pass, then the very next thing that the next hurdle you have to cross is the physical fitness test, because FBI agents only are required to pass a medical physical and a physical fitness test. The physical fitness test consists of sit-ups, push-ups, pull-ups, 300-meter sprint, and a 1.5 mile run.
Wow.
Yeah. So not just anybody can get in. We have some of the most fit people from the military that cannot pass our test, because we do our test a little slightly different from the military. You can go on our website and watch the physical fitness video to see what that protocol is. You have to do your sit-ups. You can't lace your fingers. They have to be laced like this. Elbows have to be straight out behind your back. You have to sit completely straight up. We don't do crunches. You go completely straight up at a 90-degree angle and then all the way back down. So it just totally kills people. When you do that, you have a 5-minute break. You have a 300-meter sprint, a 5-minute break. Push-ups, 5-minute break, and then a 1.5 mile run. By the time most people do the 300-meter sprint, they can't complete the rest, because each event by itself is easy when done individually. And you wait 30 minutes or so where you can breathe. But when you've got 5 minutes to rest between, it's not enough time to recover. So it's one of those things we tell everybody: when you do a PT test on yourself, at least once a week test yourself to see where you fall. Can you complete it with that 5-minute break between each event? Because that's how it's going to be given to you when you get to Quantico, and they are much harder up there. We have to be hard here, but they're a lot harder. So it's nothing more frustrating than to have, we call them exercise Nazis for lack of better definition, but stand over you and you've done 15 sit-ups and they've said 1. They keep saying 1 because they're not counting, because you're not using proper form. So that's why we tell everybody, watch the video. It's important. If you hire a personal trainer, let them watch it so they can see what we're looking for, because they go into complete breakdown of how they want the exercises done. You have to pass the PT with a score of 12 points. 12 points doesn't seem like a lot, but you've got 4 events where the points count. The pull-ups, they don't count unless you're applying for the hostage rescue team, and you have to pass the PT test with 20 points at that, for that qualification. So 12 points is like, a lot of them are just grateful to get to 12. Because they're thinking, 20, have you lost your mind? But that's, unfortunately, it's kind of how it is. So If you pass the PT test, then the next thing that's going to happen is your mailbox on email is going to get blown up by me, because I'm going to send you all these forms and all these applications that you have to complete in 7 days and get back to me, so I can set you up for your security interview, your polygraph, your drug test, your fingerprints, and then your background investigation. The long application that I send you, we call it the SF-86. If any of you have had any federal government experience, you know what an SF-86 form is. It's a standard federal government form. It's just a regular job application. And that allows you to get a security clearance, because everybody who works for the FBI is required to have a top secret security clearance. We handle top secret because we handle stuff that goes directly to the president, so it's national security information that we handle. We don't give those out very lightly. We're going to go back to your 18th birthday for every place you've lived, worked, gone to school. And when it comes to drug usage, it's going to cover your entire lifetime. A lot of people think, well, what I do as a juvenile, that doesn't count. It does in the FBI. For law enforcement purposes, it will count. Because what we are seeing is more and more and more, the attorneys out there are getting a lot more savvy. So they are going after our personnel. The defense attorneys are going after our personnel, especially our drug agents that are doing drug cases. They're wanting their personnel records, because they want to know if they've ever bought, sold, or used any type of drug, because if they can prove that they have, they're going to do their best to get their testimony disqualified. And you disqualify the case agent, you've pretty much killed your case without him being able to help during that court proceeding. So that's why we stress the importance of, we have a huge drug policy. We stress the importance of adhering to that drug policy. You'd be surprised how many people come in front and they've put no on the online application. I've never bought, sold, used. They come in, the SF-86, they put no, never bought, sold, used. They come in, I interview them and even give them another form and another opportunity to tell me, yes, I have, and I've used, this many times, this product or that. They'll stand there and tell me no, but when they get to that polygraph examiner, it becomes a confessional. You'd be surprised how many times he's called me and go, well, none of them bit the dust. I'm like, why? He said, well, I started hooking up these wires and monitors and they started hyperventilating. I said, I got to tell you something. I didn't tell her. That's when he goes, go ahead. And then he unhooks you and he says, we'll be in touch to get you rescheduled. No, we won't. We don't ever call you back. We send you a rejection letter. Okay? So that's why we take it very seriously. But that's how I get a lot of high schoolers that goes, well, how do you know if I ever use drugs? You can beat the polygraph. Trust me. My polygraph examiner is trained on how to look for countermeasures where people are trying to mess the test up. He knows what he's looking for. He knows all the tricks of the trade that people go online and research. You can't get them past him. And if he sends his report to headquarters that says countermeasures were used, you can guarantee you will never be eligible for anything in the FBI.
So that's done for the special agent and the professional?
Yes. When I came in 20 years ago, I didn't have to undergo that. That came in 2 years after I got hired, and I was like, whoo! But I've undergone an FBI polygraph, and as an employee, I'm getting ready for another one, and I don't like the idea of taking them, but it's because of the type of clearance I have. Mine is top secret with sensitive compartmented, which is super, super secret stuff. That is all our cryptographic materials. So because I have that attached to me, I have to undergo this polygraph. If I just had basic top secret, I wouldn't have to undergo it right now. But they did one on me, and I've had a polygraph before. But when they put the things on your little fingers and the cup on your arm and this cable around your chest, you don't realize how many breaths you take until you got a cable on your chest that shows you. And then you think, I told the guy, I said, I think I'm going to hyperventilate and pass out. I said, I never realized I took this many breaths. And he goes, just take a few deep breaths, you'll be okay. And then they put you in this chair that looks like an executioner's chair. It's this huge chair with these big black arms, and you have to sit with your arms out and your feet completely flat on the floor. You can't move. I mean, I was afraid to breathe. And I have a tendency when I'm nervous to squinch my toes